me. You know, he was there. He was there when my sister were going through all those things. He was there. I know that.
Rob wanted to tell everyone he knew about the changes in his life.
You know, I was calling my mom and calling everybody like, man, I'm different, man. I'm telling you, I'm different. You know, I was excited.
But not everybody was ready to believe him.
I just ran into a couple of people that I've abused or assaulted, and they looked at me and it's like, oh no, here comes Fresh, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, no, I'm different. You know, I'm not gonna hurt you. You know, please just listen to me. You know, I'm sorry for what I did. You know, kind of thing. So.
Now a rap evangelist, youth pastor, husband, and father, Rob can hardly believe the blessings he's received in just 5 short years. But he's not about to forget where he came from.
I like to drive down here sometimes and just, you know, the Bible says never forget the pit that he brought you from. So I drive down here sometimes and just thank God for where I am now and where I came from, and not forget where I came from, so it keep me focused on what I have to do.
I was an evil man with evil deeds, but now I walk after righteousness indeed. It's so beautiful, Lord.
That's the part where my life can be a light to them, and not what I can say, but just the way I walk. You know, what I mean by that is, when the paper came out about the Grammys, all the people from my old neighborhood that I used to do dirt with, they emailed me, and they said, man, we can change. You know, there is hope. They said, you made it out of here, man. It's good to see someone made it out of here, you know. So how we carry our life and how we live our life can speak more than what we can say to them.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
In Winnipeg for 100 Huntley Street, I'm Cheryl Weber.
Huntley Street is gonna be alright. Huntley Street is gonna be alright. Huntley Street's gonna be alright.
All right. Yeah. Fresh IE. What a great story. And he said, we're going to be all right too. But what a story.
What a story.
It's hard to believe what he went through and what he even put others through in his life. And if you've ever wondered, boy, can I ever turn things around? I don't know if I can, or is there ever hope for me? He made a statement there in that report. He said, there is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope for you, for everyone that will turn their life around and turn to Jesus.
You know, maybe you've thought all along that Christianity is kind of shallow and for shallow people. Well, you just saw a story that needed some deep work done, and only Jesus can do the deep work that needs to be done in your life. Let me challenge you to give him a try. Let him do what he wants to do, what only he can do in your life. Give our prayer line a call. We would love to pray with you, talk with you, listen to you, and introduce you to the only true hope that you have in this life, and that is Jesus Christ.
Now, the Bible talks about when we do that, when we do turn to him, that everything becomes new. It's like we're a new creation.
That's right.
Old things are passed away and everything becomes new, and like Fresh IE was talking about, everything just kind of looked new and fresh, and the Bible just jumped out at him, and it was a very amazing experience and continues to be for him and can be for you as well. And he certainly had a big smile there at the end, and you can get your smile back if you felt that it's been just disappeared. And
I was just going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say another way we can get our smile back is through Phil Callaway. He's with us every Friday with Laughing Matters, and so here he is for today.
I have a confession to make. I was a crazy kid. Teachers didn't fully appreciate me when I was a child, and my parents wondered if there was any hope at all for me. I actually thought my name was Cut It Out. That's what grown-ups called me, Cut It Out Callaway. The trouble with being a crazy kid is that God has a sense of humor, and one day he may give you some children of your own. When my sons were a little smaller, I found them doing something terrible one night, too terrible to tell you about, and I sent them to bed snackless. Then I sat in the living room wondering if there's any hope at all for my descendants. Do you ever wonder, I asked my wife, what will happen to a generation that doesn't even know which way to point its hats or how high to pull its pants? A generation raised on Nintendo and Marilyn Manson. I sometimes wonder about the kids, admitted my wife, because they're a lot like you. Well, thankfully the phone interrupted our conversation. The caller was a friend I hadn't seen in years. Would I care to join him and a few others for a friendly game of floor hockey? Well, quicker than you can say cardiac arrest, I said yes. By the end of round 1, my face was roughly the color of a ripe plum. I think I pulled some fat, I told my teammates. Then I said, how about we retire to my house for a healthy snack, namely some Pepsi and some chips? Well, the suggestion was welcomed by Dave Wall and Pete Rashley, 2 childhood buddies of mine. The 3 of us were trouble when we were kids. Saturdays we took black felt pens and added a single consonant to garage sale signs so that they read garbage sale signs. We used to sneak into church nurseries and place Limburger cheese in diapers. Just once we did this. Once we called the morgue to inform them that Mr. Emstutz, our 10th grade math teacher, was dead. Please come and pick him up. As we enjoyed our snack that night, we told tales of supergluing salt shakers to restaurant tables, of signing classmates up for the military, of the strategic placement of outhouses, whoopee cushion, shaving cream, and saran wrap. Most of the stuff we did you couldn't put into print, admitted Dave. My teachers hated me. Every time I turned around, they spanked me. You check the dictionary for brat, and you'll find my high school picture. Pete's list of accomplishments rivaled Dave's. I was chased by security guards, banned from talent shows, and kicked out of Bible college. And that was during one of my better weeks. On countless nights, my parents lay awake, wondering when the police would call, and praying for the day I'd come home. You know, God heard those prayers. On Pete's 20th birthday, God got his attention in a rather dramatic way. Pete told us that he was going 80 miles an hour on the motorcycle when they crashed. I was lying in the ditch unconscious, he said. I had this dream where everything was pitch black. I knew I was going to hell. When I woke up, I decided to give up running and come home for good. Today, Pete is senior pastor of a Baptist church. He just named his firstborn daughter Charis, Greek for grace. And Dave? Well, he's quit taunting his teachers and joined them. When he isn't playing practical jokes on the natives, he teaches the Bible to a remote tribe in Papua New Guinea. Pete and Dave know a few things for sure. They know that God has a great sense of humor, that He loves nothing more than watching wandering boys come home. And they'd tell you anytime that their lives have never been more exciting than they are right now. The clock was moving toward 1 as we said goodnight, and the children were asleep, so I slipped silently into their rooms. Placing a soft hand on their heads, I prayed, Dear God, thank you that there's hope after all, that you delight in changing people. Will you do as much for my kids? Will you take their energy and shape it for good? May they find in me something worth imitating. May they find in you everything they'll need to make a mark on this old world. On the way to bed, I switched off the kitchen light and I pulled aside a curtain. Sure enough, Pete and Dave were still in the driveway. Their hood was up. I guess they hadn't found the potato I put in their exhaust pipe. Is there a Pete or a Dave in your life, a prodigal child or friend, a relative? Bring them to God today. Go without a meal so you can pray for them. Call a friend and pray together for the prodigal in your life. Psalm 66, 19 and 20 says, God has surely listened and heard my voice in prayer. Praise be to God who has not rejected my prayer or withheld His love from me. In Exodus 26, God promises that He will show love to 1,000 generations of those who love Him and keep His commandments. Whenever I look at my children, whenever I look in the mirror, I am thankful for those verses. Aren't you? I'm Phil Callaway. I'll see you next time on Laughing Matters.
Ever since the triumphant day that Jesus rose out of the tomb, we have proclaimed a risen Savior. And now you can share the joy of Easter with family and friends through the inspiring children's book, The Very First Easter, by 100 Huntley Street's own historian, Dr. Paul Meyer. If you enjoy Dr. Meyer's book, The Very First Christmas, then you'll also love his beautifully illustrated miraculous account of what really happened on the very first Easter. This book will become a family favorite for this time of year and is our thanks to you for your support of the Crossroads family of ministries. To receive your copy of the very first Easter, please call 1-888-777-2287 or write to Crossroads, Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R 4M2. And when you contact us, please remember that it's your generous support that enables the ministry of Crossroads to carry on.
Well, Anne, we're getting a lot of requests for the very first Easter, like we did for the very first Christmas that we offered around Christmas time by Dr. Paul Meyer. And so we are looking forward to sending out a lot of those to you.
And I was just reading in the foreword where Paul Myers says, Easter books for children often focus on the delights of spring, bunnies, colored eggs, chocolate candies, and the Easter basket. But then he goes on to say, these pages return the sacred dimension to Easter. It's all about a mom and a dad and explaining to their 10-year-old son all the historical events surrounding Easter, which would be the trial, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus. And so it's written in a very easy to understand way, and parents and grandparents can really share with their children and grandchildren the historical facts surrounding Easter.
Don't forget the great-grandparents, too.
That's true. That's
and
true.
It's so beautifully illustrated with these paintings. But if you didn't get the information down, let's give it to you one more time. And please, we do need to hear from you. We are need that extra boost as we continue on this winter. And your help would be so appreciated. And you can just call the number right there, 1-888-777-2287. You can make an immediate gift by credit card and request the book. Or you can just write to Crossroads. And when you do, you can make your check payable to Crossroads and send it to Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R 4M2. And crossroads.ca, our website, you can find out all the information there as well. And whatever God would lead you to send as a gift is greatly appreciated. Amounts large or small are all appreciated. So thanks so much for your help, for helping us to do what we do year-round.
Well, now Rhonda has a very special guest with her with an amazing story. So here's Rhonda with her guest.
Indeed, Anne. My guest today has endured more than her fair share of heartaches and hardships, rape, widowhood at the age of 29, and chronic pain. And yet, despite all the bad things that have happened to Gloria McMurray, she says she has found God to be good, even in the midst of the most heartbreaking circumstances. She's here to tell her story. Please welcome Gloria McMurray to 100 Huntley Street today. Gloria, thank you so much for being with us. Now, you grew up in a Christian home. At a very young age, you decided to follow Jesus, and you were so devoted in that. As a young girl, as a teenager, you went to Bible school, studied to become a missionary, and I'll let you pick up the story at age 19.
Yes, I did study to become a missionary, and I worked as a short-term missionary for Wycliffe Bible Translators. And while I was there, one day I was eating by myself in a restaurant, and a young man came up to me and saw that I was reading my Bible and wanted to know about Christianity, and would I mind having dinner with him and telling him more. And being a missionary, I thought, oh, of course I will. I'd be glad to do that.
And who wouldn't say, thank you, God, so much for this opportunity. All I was doing was reading my Bible. These gentlemen come up to you, ask if they can hear more. Could you get together for dinner? Who would turn down that invitation?
Exactly. And so, of course, I was eager to share my faith with this young man and his cousin. When the young man came to the door to pick me up, it was just himself. He said that his cousin would meet us later. Unfortunately, his cousin never did, and I don't think the term date rape was coined then, but that is exactly what happened to me, and as a result of that, I became pregnant. I had to leave my job and go home. My family were wonderful, and I'm so thankful for them. However, it was still very, very difficult coming back to a small hometown And of course, anywhere there is going to be gossip, and it was very difficult.
And here you are, the complete victim, and yet all this whispering and murmuring and rumors going on, and the suspicion.
Exactly. What God did for me, though, during that time was just surround me with His love and His protection. I had a wonderful aunt and uncle who